All right, let's have a look at the garden. It's July 18th. You can see the cannas are in bloom. Stargazer lilies had their day. 15 minutes of fame. Raspberries coming along, getting ready to produce the second set for summer and fall, late summer and fall. Now we're going to go take a look at some tomato plants. Here's the anchor in the corner of the garden. This thing's looking all right. One thing I wanted to comment on was that the beginning of the week, the deer came in the garden and started chomping some of the branches, and it immediately stressed out the tomatoes. And the leaves on some of them started turning brown, and you could see that the plant was sickened somehow by maybe the saliva from the deer chomping on them. But I noticed an immediate reaction, and I went and grabbed a 0.25% mixture of Garden Shield, and I sprayed these plants. This was the one that really seemed like it was in the worst shape. And you can see I sprayed it 2 days ago in the evening, so it's not really been quite 2 full days. And the Garden Shield, the chitosan and citric acid, they're just killing these leaves, and these should all be brown and hanging off. But you'll notice what's interesting is there's part of this leaf right here that has healthy leaves, and then those will remain while these other yellow ones will turn brown and fall away. So that's really cool about the chitosan, is that it will attack and kill, but it allows the plant to just continue, and the rest of the plant does heal up. So I'm gonna just swing over here. Let's have a look at that, and I'll show you the deer. They're just chomping the branches of the plants, and you can see that's what happens. And then but it makes the plant sick somehow. So you can see these little chomps, and over here on this plant, here, and when that happened, within a day, the plant started getting sick, and I could see the leaves on certain plants starting to change. And so I immediately grabbed the 0.25% and started taking care of them. And they seem to recover almost immediately. So I noticed this plant got chomped pretty hard. Everything that was outside the cage pretty much got chomped. You can see down here it's chomped pretty hard, all up in here. So they did a number on this plant, and it made it sick. But after spraying it with the chitosan, you can see it has just restored it back to good health. And the same thing with pretty much most of the plants. You can see where the deer have chomped them, and there's been obviously a shock to their system, but hitting it with that 0.25% chitosan saved the day. And this thing got really chomped. I mean, there's not hardly anything outside the cage. You can see all over in here, chomperoni. But the plant has recovered, and I believe it's gonna do just fine. You can see this plant. So chitosan, it in ordinary circumstances at 0.1% would activate the plant defense system. At 0.25%, you're able to treat a whole lot of problems, just like we did here. And at 1%, that's when you actually know that you've got a blight or a mold or a fungus happening. Look at these beautiful zinnias over here. Lovely little bunch of flowers over here too. So yeah, these tomato plants are back to thriving a few days after really getting a shock from getting chomped by the deer. And you can see the deer tracks. There they are, the culprit there. And you can see looks like there's been more than one in here last night, and they're chomping away. But I'm not as paranoid about the whole problem, since now I know that this 0.25% chitosan restores them. Look at all the business over here. You can see all these tracks. But yet the plants are back to thriving. So here's a glance at the rest of the garden. You can see things are going pretty well. Some changes. And that's on 7/18/24. See you next time.